In today's lab, we're going to be doing lab 2B, which is manage governance via Azure policy. Just to give you an inside note before we get started on the lab, to get to the lab, you need to go ahead and actually, I'm going to go scroll back all the way here, go to google.com, type in AZ104 GitHub. After that, you're going to click on AZ104 Microsoft Azure Administrator GitHub. And then from that point on, you will go to instructions and you're going to click on labs. And then you'll see the labs over here. Microsoft, I have to give credit where it's due. They have done a great job in making Microsoft latest certification very educational in that sense that you're not just going to get the theory based through the videos or book reading. You can now also follow along and kind of see what your theory, what you learn from the theory, and then use the practical guide to do the lab. So I really think Microsoft is on the right track to making very capable administrators. So in this lab, we will do lab 2B, manage governance via Azure policy. So our lab scenario now is going to be, in order to improve management of Azure resources in Contoso, we have been tasked with implementing the following functionality. Tagging resource groups that includes tagging resource that includes only infrastructure resources such as Cloud Shell storage accounts, ensuring that only properly tagged infrastructure resource group can be added to the infrastructure resource group. Remediating non-compliant resources. So that's what we got to deal with. So now we have an objective for this lab. Our objective will be, first task will be, in our objective, every lab in Microsoft will have an objective. So in our objective for this lab is going to be, first task 1, create and assign Azure tag via the Azure portal. Task 2, enforce tagging via an Azure policy. Task 3, apply tagging via an Azure policy. And then duration. I want to just talk about the duration for a second as far as estimate time to complete. This time is always wrong for a lot of people because you have to always take into account propagation, replication, updates is not always going to be real time. So sometimes the estimate is off, and in this case, I can almost certain tell you that it's off. So you need to prepare about a 1 hour slot just to be on the safe side. If you are in a hurry, you shouldn't start the lab. You should basically do it when you have a couple hours at hand. And here's our scenario. We're going to be creating a task 1. We're going to go ahead and create a tag name, role, and value infra. And then task 2, we're going to create an Azure policy, require a tag with this value and resource. Task 3, we're going to create a Cloud Shell storage account. And then we're going to create new storage. And then we will inherit a tag from the resource if a group is missing. So that's what we're going to be doing. So, and then here, what we need to do in exercise 1 is we need to assign tags via Azure portal. So in this lab, to get it successfully completed, I recommend to always go to the Azure portal and log in right away. So what we need to do is we come over here, log in, and then we will click on the Cloud Shell plane. If any time you go to the Cloud Shell plane and you don't have any storage account mounted, it will prompt you to create a brand new storage prescription storage account. So in fact, if you come to the advanced option, you'll see that this will go ahead, create a new resource or create use existing resource. It will create a new storage account. It will create a new file share. That's required for any Cloud Shell account, and whether it's PowerShell or CAI, it doesn't matter. It needs to do that before you can actually do that. So the next thing is, if you decided to just not put anything in the advanced field and do the default, which you can do, it's fine. You can do that. And so you're gonna go ahead and hit create. This will take some time. And so once it's finished creating, then we will go ahead and see. Thing to note is when this is created, if you go to storage accounts, you will see the storage account for the new Cloud Shell showing up over here. Right now, it's not showing up because he just finished creating it. So if we refresh it, you see it now showing up over here. So that's how it is. And he also put the resource group as a Cloud Shell storage East US, and then location East US. So, and then the subscription is that. So for us, and then now, what we want to do is we want to type in DF to get all the properties of the storage account, and then we'll copy this. And then what I'll do is I'll just put this on a notepad somewhere over here. And then now we did that. If we, and then we will minimize this. If we now reference the lab, we just did step 1, 2, and 3. We just did that. Now we need to go ahead into the Azure portal on the storage account. We need to go to the resource group representing the storage account, and we need to make sure that we add a tag to a resource group. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go back, and then we're going to click on the storage resource group. So this is going to be the resource group on it, and we're going to click on tags. By default, it doesn't have any tags, so we can go ahead and create a tag name, role, and then value is going to be infra for infrastructure. Just to verify what we did is over there. Now we will go ahead and apply our tag. So now we did that. Now if we go to the overview, say it says here now, go back to the storage account blade and then click overview, and we make sure it's not applied. So we need to go back to the storage account and then click here on the overview. So our tag is not applied right now. The new tag we created is the storage. This is the new tag we just created, role, and then value infra, and it's not automatically applied, and that's what we want. So now what we need to do is we need to go ahead to the policy tab and then basically select authoring definition and then create a tag called require a tag and its value and resource. That's what we're going to do. So let's go home, click on policy, and always you can search for it if you can't find it. So click on policy and then definition. If you're ever not sure about the instructions, if you have maybe multiple monitor, you can have them side by side. So that's why it's all, and verify that what you're doing if you're not 100% sure. Just to go back to the instructions again. So you can come over here, search for that, and click on it. If you try to scroll down to all the categories, for example, let me erase it for a second, you can see and refresh it. You'll see so many possible, definition policies, if you will. So we need to only use this one for now. And then we're going to click on here, and then we're going to hit assign. On the assign part, we're going to select our scope. So our scope is going to be the subscription and resource group. So the subscription, if you have multiple subscriptions, you want to select the right subscription, and the resource group, you want to choose the right resource group. If you choose the wrong one, then this will be applying to the wrong one, and we don't want to do that. And next thing, the policy, see, we basically did step 5, we select our subscription and the resource group. Now we want to go ahead, change the name to that require tag on this value and resource. Instead, the name now will be require a tag require role tag with the infra value. That's going to be the name. And then the description is going to be this one. Okay, so that's going to be the description. Next, we will do the parameter. The parameter, it needs to make sure that to be a role and then value infra. So we're just going to type that in to make it easy. Infra. Next, we won't do anything with remediation as part of the instruction. If you look at it, it doesn't want to do anything with remediation, and we're going to hit basically next and then create. This is now, once it's created, we need to wait 5 to 15 minutes, and that's why we have a stopwatch. Okay, so now the storage account will be, now that we need to create a storage account, we need to choose the proper resource. This is the resource group that we assign the tag, and we will name it anything just like that. So we can name it, and it has to be lowercase, so we can name something like that. And then we will hit create, and it should fail. And the reason it failed is because our policy kicked in. So we basically specify, if you click on the tag, you'll see that it says here, policy enforcement value does not meet the requirement on resource, IT skill, and whatnot, because we need to have a value, a tag name role, and value name infra. And so it works. So now what we need to do is, we need to do the task 3 on this, which is going to be deleting our current assignment or policy, and then creating additional policy that actually inherits a tag from a resource group if missing. So basically, if the tag is not available on the actual storage account, it will grab it from the resource group. If the storage account or service is sitting on that resource group, it will get it, the tag from them. So that's what we need to do. So we need to go to policy, and then on the policy, we need to come over here to, assignments, and then we need to click on the ellipsis over here, and then delete assignment. Yes, we want to delete it. Now what we need to do is create assignment policy again. We will make sure that we choose our subscription and resource group. This is very important. So we have our subscription correct, and then we will choose a resource group, which is Cloud Shell Storage ESTS. You select that. Next, the policy definition, we will go ahead and click on the ellipsis again, and then we will filter it by doing this. So inherit a tag from a resource group if missing, and then we hit select. Now, from inherit tag, inherit a role tag and its infra value from the Cloud Shell resource group if missing. So that's what we're going to name it, and then we're going to make the description the same. And the description will be the same. Next, we're not done yet. The parameter is going to be role, only the role. So that's what we're going to do. So that's going to be the parameter, and then next, remediation, we will check this box. Inherit tag from a resource group is missing, and then next, we won't have to do anything else over there. That's all he wants us to do. Then we're going to hit create, review, and create. So this is the summary for us. We chose our subscription and the resource group. This is our policy definition. Assignment name is that, description is that, and it will be enabled. And then the tag name is role, and then the mediation will be created, and then hit create. Now, once we do this, once again, we will have to wait 5 to 15 minutes. This is why doesn't end with 30 minutes, because of the waiting game we have to do. So we're gonna reset our stopwatch again and then start it. And then we will wait. Even though the tag is created, it hasn't been enforced yet. So that's what we're waiting for it to be enforced. Once that's done, we will do the storage account creation once more. And we'll go home, click on storage account, and we're gonna go ahead and create. And then we will make sure that our resource group is selected as the Cloud Shell East US. That's where we apply the policy. And the name will be that, it's fine. And it has to be all lowercase. And then you don't have to change anything in there. And we hit review and create. So the validation passed, and we can create it. So our storage account is being created. And so once it's created, what we need to do is go to the resource tab, overview, go to the resource tab and overview, and then make sure that the storage account has a tag called role with value infra automatically assigned to the resource. And that's what we need to do. Once we do that, then we verified it and we're done with our lab. So let's see if our tag has been inherited from the resource group. So there you go, it's been inherited from the resource group. And again, now it's time to summarize on exactly what we just did, so that way you have an idea. To summarize, we went ahead and click here, created brand new Cloud Shell storage account. Once it created the storage account, we went to this Cloud storage accounts, we clicked on the storage account, and then from that point on, we went to the resource group, which is the Cloud Shell Storage East US, which is Cloud Shell Storage East US, and we made sure the tag was there. We added the tag role, name role, and then value infra. After that, we went to the policy. And then we created a brand new policy and the definition. Once we created the policy, and the policy was require a tag, and its value on resource. That was the policy we created it. And then we went to the assign. Once we went to the assign, we select our scope, which is subscription and the resource group. We selected it as an Cloud Shell Storage East US. We changed the name, and then we went to the parameter tab. We added the name role, and then we added the name role, and then value infra. After that, we didn't do anything with remediation. We hit review and create, which we're going to cancel. We don't want to do this again. Hit cancel. After that, we deleted that. Then we went to the policy, assignment, and then we created a new assignment. And then we selected our scope again, which is our subscription and resource group. After that, we went ahead to the policy definition, and then we search for it, inherit. So once it loads, see we did this one, inherit a tag, inherit a tag from a resource group if missing. That's what the one we did. We selected it, and then after we did that, we made sure that we have the role as the tag name as a role, and then we make sure the tag name as role, and then we selected the remediation part, and then we hit review and create. So that's what we did, and then we're gonna cancel it now. We waited for the policy to apply, and finally it was created and the policy was applied, and we were able to finally come back to storage accounts, and we created this brand new storage account, and we made sure the tag was inherited from the resource group, which it is. So that's how it is. So now what we need to do is we need to clean it up ourselves. So anytime you're in Azure, you do something, you want to make sure you clean it up, otherwise you're going to inherit some surprising charges. And so especially if this is something we're not planning on using it, we should delete it. So the first thing we need to do is we went to the assignment, we need to delete the assignment, we need to delete the storage accounts, then we need to remove the tags, and then after that, then we need to delete everything else we did. So we're gonna go ahead to do this right now, and to do this, we're gonna come over here to the resource group, go to overview, click on resource group, tags, we're going to delete the tag, apply, the tag is deleted, and then we're gonna go ahead and delete the assignment and the policy. I'm not doing this in no particular order, but you want to follow the order, you could if you want. I'm just gonna click delete assignment. Assignment is deleted. Now we're gonna go back to the storage accounts. We don't matter which one we delete, we just need to delete them. We delete the first one that was created. Hit yes. Or we need to type in the name to be able to delete this. Okay, that's on the process of deleting. The next thing we need to delete is this one. This is the other storage account. We copy the name and we paste it in here to delete. The last thing we need to do is delete the resource group. The two storage accounts are deleted. Go to resource groups. We will delete the Cloud Shell resource group by clicking here, copying the name, and then hit delete resource group. We will delete it, hit delete again, and then that takes some time and it will get deleted, and that's it for our lab. So that's it. I hope you find this to be very helpful. If you did, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and give us any feedback how we can improve on, whether this is helpful, whether you want to see more of this. That would be helpful. Thank you. Have a great day.